Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Heyrick Bond Gunning. He's the CEO of SRM to discuss the lack of investment in cyber resiliency systems. Heyrick, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Jill, good to meet you.
What are some of the biggest challenges you expect your clients to see in 2022 as it relates to cybersecurity?
Well, we've responded to over 400 ransomware cases in the past 12 months, which is up about 70% on the previous 12. And I think we'll see similar increases this year, actually. The challenges that companies are facing are that criminal groups are increasingly well organized and are in themselves sophisticated enterprises who even go as far as franchising out their software and processes to increase their return on investment. So it's very, very different to the image that people might have of a teen sitting at home doing it for fun. This is a big business, and there's no doubt the opportunity for the hackers has really increased because of the hybrid working. So just to give you an idea of, the cost to business, cybercrime costs vary, but the estimates sort of settle at about $6 trillion mark for 2021, and they're likely to get to around $10 trillion a year in the next 2 or 3 years. So it's really an arms race, actually, in terms of managing the risk.
I mean, that really is quite audacious of the hackers to franchise out their software.
Yeah.
That's a bit mind-blowing to me. So the obvious question is, are businesses putting the right resources towards their cyber resiliency?
Jill, the short answer is no, they're not. They're way off, actually. To give you an idea, at the end of last year, we interviewed or surveyed around 600 C-suite executives, and despite the increase in the threat and the clear evidence, actually, that cyber attacks are only going one way, only 51% said that they'd actually rolled out their cyber strategy. And what's more concerning is we've seen a budget increase on average of less than 1% during that period. Now, they're predicting a rise of around 8% in their budgets over the next 12 months, but that's going to be way outstripped by the threat. And the rate of cybercrime is just increasing almost exponentially. And what's more, I think, which is really concerning for them, is the insurance markets are hardening. So it's much more difficult to transfer that cyber risk through insurance. Therefore, we're seeing them really thinking about how they invest in organizational resilience, which has never really been more important for them.
So when a cyber attack takes place and SRM is called in, what role does your team play?
Yeah, I mean, at SRM, we think of the first 48 hours as that crucial period to ensure that the clients quickly understand and respond, understand their response strategy and the critical technical work streams that are going to be involved. So we really look at 3 things. First of all, the orchestration of the technical strategy for the response. So that's talking to them around their technical triage and the initial sort of advice and quick wins. Secondly, we'll look at the role that we play as a technical advisor to the leadership. So that's the leadership and the legal counsel, providing information around containment and response processes. And then finally, we act as a kind of technical coach or counselor to IT teams because they're under so much pressure, and it just helps them translate what it is they're trying to get through to their senior management. So we're managing those communications upwards.
Right. So what are the steps companies must take to properly prepare for cyber attacks? Because having a long password with upper lowercase and special characters just not going to cut it. Yeah,
I think historically companies just thought that when they bought insurance, their job was done when it came to managing the risk. But the playing field's changed so much. So I'd say there are, again, 3 things that they should look at. First of all is rehearse your plan, because it's not if, but when you're going to get attacked. Then really think about your key data. What would break the business from a reputation or operational perspective? And then the final point is just cover the basics, the technical, the procedural, and the people basics. So often when we come in to respond, it's really obvious things that people have just forgotten about doing.
Right. So with the cyber insurance market evolving, as you had said, how can businesses best adapt to those changes?
Yeah, I mean, the market's evolved so much that some companies simply can't get insurance. And we're seeing the rates, the costs of the insurance go up between 60 and 600%. And I think companies are quickly realizing that they are falling foul of their contractual obligations with investors and clients. And so that they need to start thinking about how they manage that cyber risk. And some of them are doing it in-house through investment, but not many. Others are outsourcing it to a third party like SRM. I think the important thing is that they need to just all think about this blend of investing in their people, because that's where most of the mistakes are made, their processes and the technology. So it's so important because those three elements are codependent.
And finally, what's next for SRM?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Jill. I mean, to put it simply, we're going to continue to help businesses in moments of crisis, ensure that they're less likely to be a victim of attack. And we'll do that by leveraging our data, technology, and experience, as well as building out our cyber academy. I think the landscape of cyber attacks is only going to get worse. And we believe there's a lot that SRM can do to help manage those risks.
All right, Heyrick, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Jill.